Today we'll be running through the Dataedo demo. So it's going to be a little more than a demo. We're going to run through a plethora of different things within the industry, Dataedo itself, metadata management altogether. So first off, guys, I'm Chase Summers. I'm the Director of Sales and Customer Success here at Dataedo. So I'll be running you through, the whole demo web presentation here and webinar, and we'll be, touching, like I said, a few different parts. So just to kick things off, we'll run through the agenda. So first, we'll be covering what is Dataedo. So this is, who is Dataedo from, where we came from, where we're going, a little bit of background on us as a company, and then the architecture, right? So what are you going to need to get things up and running? That's one of the most important parts, because if you can't start there, it's going to be hard to move forward. Next, we'll run through some use cases and how we see our customers use the tool, and then how the world's changing. So again, this is where we take a step back and say, hey, what in the world is changing that is allowing people to prioritize data governance, metadata management, and all of these projects that are going on. And then we'll go into data, walking on thin ice, which is more of the risk associated with poor data management, the data management in itself. So we'll jump through that, and then we'll go into a quick product demo of the web catalog. So I'll show you a little bit of the tool. And then if you want a deeper look, we can always set up a personal demo to run you through the depths of it. We will cover pricing on this, so you'll have an idea of that. Why us? So how do we stand out in the market of metadata management tools and data catalogs? And then next step. So if you are interested, hey, where do you go from here? And then we will close up with a Q&A. So first off, what is Dataedo? So Dataedo itself is a data catalog and metadata management software. Our whole purpose is to serve as a single source of truth about your data for your organization. And then who are we? So originally founded in 2002, the original team started off as a data warehouse, software, BI consulting business. So they would actually build this stuff out for people. And what they realized that it was super, super hard to maintain these data warehouses and BI efforts. So they built Dataedo as an internal tool because they realized there really wasn't anything cost efficient within the market. And then they ended up realizing, hey, other people can benefit from this as well. So they rolled this out to the market in 2015. Now I believe we're 20 customers away from 1,000 in 2021. So we should hit that by the end of the year. And exceed past that. So we're really excited. We've had incredible growth, and we've been able to serve a lot of our customers very well. And we've grown from over the past 20 years into something that we're able to tackle the market with in a really cool space. So here, let's look at what a lot of you are probably dealing with today. So we see this database. It doesn't really mean anything to us. So we can say, hey, what does CAR mean? What does this CAR table mean? If you're not someone who's that data expert, you're really going to come in here and feel pretty confused. You're not going to have a lot of background knowledge. Not really sure where to go from here, right? So, you look at this, there's no clarity, and you're probably going to end up having to talk to a data expert in your team. Or if you don't have a data expert, you're just going to have to try to figure it out on your own, right? So with no documentation, it does leave you feeling quite confused. But what Dataedo allows is a much deeper insight, right? So now we understand, hey, this table here is cards, and then we understand an overview of this table. So just a quick summary. We can see that FNAM, this column here, is actually first name. So, if that's something like attribute 3, you would never know the attribute 3 just happens to be first name, right? We also have the descriptions. We have our primary keys, unique keys documented here, our references, and whether it's used or unused. So these custom fields are going to be where you can put in, anything of use. So, think if you need to document owner or calculation, you can add in custom metadata fields to solve that issue. So again, the old way is really tackling more of a slower approach to going to these what may feel like fortune tellers, as you can see in the cartoon to the left. And the new way is really just having it at your fingertips in a much more self-service manner. And now we'll head into the architecture. So we'll cover this real quick. So the way that Dataedo works is you have all of your metadata sources, and those are going to be scheduled to import to the desktop. The desktop is where you're going to do a lot of your creation of custom fields, monitoring the changes as they occur to the schema, setting up new connectors, a lot of that more admin work. And maybe if you have to do some of the more manual, drawing manual relations that are auto-populated, or you don't have your keys in place, you can do those from the desktop. This is all going to be stored on a central repository. And on the consumer side, so the data community side, you're going to have the web catalog. So you can edit descriptions from the web catalog as well. But this is really going to be a place for your community to come in and dig into the work that you're putting in. And even at its earliest stage, you're able to see, hey, what tables do we have? What do these mean? Where is it at? What columns are in place? So we're able to have that deeper look in its earliest form within the web catalog. You do have the opportunity to export HTML and PDF for free if you do want those static exports to maybe limit what you're showing to certain people. That's a great option there. Installation time on this is really 25 to 80 minutes. Depending on your firewalls or whatever you have up in the organization, this can take a little bit longer, especially once we get on the website of things, but it's still very, very quick to get this up and running. And then also we do have the local setup, which is serverless as a file repository. There's a big limitation here because your data stewards can't collaborate. So there's only one data steward able to work on this, and you can only do this export through HTML and PDF. And it's a bit slower as well, but if you really want to test things out fairly quickly, it's a great option. This installation is 7 to 35 minutes typically. Now, use cases. So here's what we see our customers doing with it. So BI teams, this is a way for your BI teams to really have that better understanding of data and then increase that productivity so you can have faster onboarding. You know, everyone's speaking the same language. You know, your BI team is able to work much more efficiently through here. And same with this. So self-service BI, this is where everyone can have, you know, you can empower your entire organization to be data literate. And so you have that better discovery and understanding of data. And again, for everyone, not just the technical people, right, but also your business users. Data warehousing. So data warehousing is a super expensive approach. And there's a super expensive effort, right? So what you want to do is you want to maximize the output of the effort that's going into the data warehouse. So we want to be able to use this for BI, reporting, data science. And Dataedo, by having this documentation, allows you to, again, include everyone within the organization to be empowered by this. So you're really going to maximize that ROI. Database development. So as you hand off a project, whether that's internally or externally, if you have a vendor, the database development documentation allows you to say, hey, everyone can now have this clear and up-to-date view of the schema and what's happening and what's happened. And it's easier to grow the team, right? So if you hire someone new, they're able to step into this development and know where to go from there. And if you lose someone within your team, you know, you're not going to be out of luck there. All the documentation is going to be maintained and the knowledge stays within the organization. Data governance. So this is where it's a tool for the data stewards to work both top down and bottom up, right? So by this, I mean, you can take business terms and link them to the data. And that way, if you want to come in and say, hey, we need to understand what we have on X, you're able to then work from your business side down into the depths of your metadata and then back up if you need to. So it provides a much more holistic view of what you have. And you're able to have a much better grasp on that. Development outsourcing, I hinted at this a moment ago, but what this really does essentially is it shifts power back from, like if you're the company, it shifts power back once you've outsourced your development, because now you're going to have the documentation of what's going on. So now you can either move this back internally, or you can move on to a new vendor and not really have any lost time, right? Because you have the documentation, you know what's going on, and it's much easier to hand it off. And then for the vendor, this is an added value that you can add to your customers, right? So it's less friction. It's going to add, you know, that additional value that a lot of your competitors will not be offering. Other use cases, we have a few here. One of the ones that we're seeing more frequently is mergers and acquisitions. So especially a lot of companies that are acquiring or merging with other companies, there's a lot of different data and that all means completely different stuff. So we want to bring that into a single source of truth, or at least document the differences in what we have. So it's a great use case that we're seeing more frequently now. Then how the world changes. So big data revolution, I'm sure all of you are familiar with. But this is the whole idea that the data that we worked with, you know, 5 years ago or even 2 years ago is not the same that we're working with today. So we have much more of a variety of data, right? We have a high variability within that data, and we need to be able to track that. We need to be able to catalog the different sources we're working with. We're not just working with one source anymore. It's a whole plethora. And so we're seeing a lot of companies want to keep up with the changes that are going on in this big data revolution. And the data catalog is critical in being able to keep up to date with these changes. Remote work. So it's not just a COVID thing anymore. A lot of companies are maintaining, you know, the remote lifestyle, especially IT. Even if some business portions are going in, a lot of the IT is staying remote. And so one thing here is that self-sufficiency is really important, because you're not able to just lean over and ask questions. It's a little bit more of a process, especially if you're working in different time zones. It can be a little bit harder than it would typically be in the office. So having this data catalog allows you to, you know, jump in and be self-sufficient in understanding. Data-driven and self-service data. We hear this all the time. No one really knows what it means. but essentially we want to be able to make decisions based on our data. And this is where the companies of tomorrow are really excelling, is making sure that they can make data-driven decisions, and that the business is less reliant and more literate, or more data literate, you can say, and less reliant on that IT and BI. Data protection. So this is one, again, it's evolving over time, but in short, there are more regulations and larger fines than ever before. And so you need to understand, where is your sensitive data and what sensitive data do you have, right? So you need the full scope of what you have so that you can make sure that you're handling it appropriately. And then one of the biggest shifts that we're seeing in metadata management is similar to what we saw with data warehousing and BI. So in the 1980s, really, to the early 2000s, you saw a shift in BI data warehousing only being in the Fortune 500 companies, and then it became much more common in the small to medium-sized businesses. We're seeing the similar shift in metadata management, to where Fortune 500s really set that precedent, but now what we're seeing is it shifting into the small to medium-sized businesses. And so everyone's doing it, you could say. Walking on thin ice. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna jump into a few of the issues that either you're going through right now or that you may not think of, that you're probably gonna run into in this world of metadata management, right? So one of the biggest things that our customers see, and I have a great use case for this, is they spend too much time searching for their data and not enough time doing anything with it. So one of the use cases we have is we have a customer who's, their data experts spent 75% of their time searching for the data rather than getting the insights. I'll show you in the demo. It's super easy now to jump in and just get what you need out and move on. So you need to have this at your fingertips. You need to be able to search and find this very efficiently so that you can do more with what you have. Risk of bad decisions is a snowball effect. So poor understanding of the data leads to poor data analytics, which leads to poor business decisions. And then that can be the detriment of an organization if you are making poor decisions based on poor data because you don't understand it. Risk of lost knowledge. Especially with the jobs being remote now, and especially in data, there's no shortage of jobs, right? And so it's easy for people to leave. And imagine if your best data expert of 3 to 5 years even leaves the organization. With them leaves all of the knowledge that they have. And so having a data catalog de-risks you as an organization, because you're able to hold that, and it's not as reliant. If a person leaves, you still have their information in the data catalog. You have the same knowledge that's in their brain at your disposal now. So it does make it much easier for an organization to either grow or change or people to leave. Opens a lot more opportunity for the organization to maintain and be less reliant on the people that work for you. And cost of scaling the data team is super inefficient in most organizations, and onboarding can take a lot of time. So with the data catalog, the idea is to steepen that learning curve so that when you have new hires coming in, you can plug them into Dataedo and they can just have everything at the fingertips. So now your data experts are not going to be spending time training or building out training processes or onboarding. They say, here's Dataedo or here's your data catalog, and then they can go in and find the answers to their questions much more efficiently. Now we'll jump into a product demo. So what we're going to take a look at here, guys, is this Dataedo web catalog, which is, as I showed you earlier in the architecture, it's how your community is going to consume this. So here we have a very simple SQL Server database. We have our description here that we built out. If you have an editor's license, again, you can come in here, you can edit descriptions, you can edit the descriptions on the table level, column level, any of what we run through here, you're going to be able to edit. So here, the first thing with Dataedo is once you connect to that data source, you're going to have all of your metadata. So your tables, views, columns, procedures, everything that is able to be pulled in is going to be at your fingertips. You're going to have a full, really, map of your metadata from moment one with connecting. So here we can see all of our tables. Let's jump into this employee table. So we have a quick description of this employee table. We can see it's an active table. We can even get on the column level. So here, I'll let you take a second to look at this. But essentially, this is where all of our tribal knowledge is going to be stored. So we have our descriptions where we're able to come in and say, hey, this is what this column's used for. This is what it means. This is what it is. So again, that siloed knowledge is going to be in people's brains, essentially, is going to be put here. Same with status. So status is an example of a custom field. So this can be in a drop-down list. It can be in a checkbox. It can be yes, no. Really, whatever you need to document, as I mentioned earlier, whether you need to do owner, primary contact, calculation, you can use this in a plethora of different ways. And custom fields are super, super useful here. You also have such as title or alias if you want to translate things. Like I mentioned earlier for attribute 3, now we know this is birth date, etc. Now we have our diagram. So if your foreign keys are in place, this diagram is going to be automatic. If it is not in place, you're going to be able to go in and manually create these ERDs. So here we're going to load these next level of relationships. We can zoom in and zoom out if we need. But again, we can come and scroll through here, see everything we need to see. Say we want to jump over to salesperson. This is interactive, so we can just click and we're here. So we can take a step back and look at the descriptions and references here. Now, if we want to come in and we're looking for something very specific, we can say, hey, we want to find where customer is at. So what do we have on customer? Once we hit enter, we can come in and have a very, very elaborate filtered search. So say we have 5 different data sources. We only want to look for this in SQL Server, and we only want to look for a customer on the table level. Oh, now we're able to sort this down and we've got it. So this is going to be very crucial for coming in and exploring, especially if you know what you're looking at. So if you are one of those people who spend a lot of time searching for what you have, now you have it. And so this is going to be a no-brainer for you in that regard. Now, what you'll see here is on this customer table, we have a linked subject area, which is for sales. Show you how the subject areas work. So subject areas are really just a way to group together tables, views, procedures, and functions. Here we do ours by portions of the business, but essentially you can do yours by any way that you need to group things together. So we have human resources here, or actually we'll go to sales since we just used that example. And we can see all tables, views, functions, and also if you have any procedures that you want to store here, you can as well. But one thing to know about this is if you have sales, say you have sales tables in 5 different data sources, now you can just group those all together. And then you will have the ERD here. And say if you want to draw these relationships across your different data sources, you can do this as well. So it does help out a little bit on that data modeling side. And these are interactive as well, so you can zoom in and zoom out. Now we've talked about the business side of things, so let's take a look at that. So here's our business glossary. We have it both on the filter tree here on the left side, or we have our diagram. So we can come in and explore the different examples here. So here we have shipping address. So maybe we want to see, hey, what does a shipping address mean? Like, what's the business definition here? So we can come in and we can see this business description. Again, this has nothing to do with your data. It's solely how this is defined by the organization. And then what we can do is we can take this high-level term and we can link it to our data assets. So now we can see the shipping address term is linked to the column for shipping address or ship to address. Once we click, we're in here. We can understand what it is, where the reference is, and how things flow through here. Now, on the other side of things, if we want to work our way back up, we go in back to this employee table, the columns. We can link, I'm trying to think of a good example here. Anyhow, you can have these linked subject areas or business glossary terms to work back up as well. So you'll have it in the columns to where you can then go up into the business terminology as well. Last 2 things is going to be classifications, which classifications, there's none in this demo here, but classification is going to be, as I mentioned earlier, being able to scan your data sources and pinpoint what sensitive data do we have, and then where is it located. So you're going to be able to view this here, and I'll show you what it looks like in the desktop in just one moment. Lastly, on here is going to be the community. So this is where your community or viewers can come in and make comments or ask questions and interact with the data stewards all through here. So we can see on salesperson table, there was a question, right? So we want to come in and we can see there was both a question and a comment here. And if you are that data expert, you can come in and reply with your answer. So this is going to help with data literacy because not only all of your information about your data is going to be in here, but also the conversation surrounding your data and metadata is going to be in here as well, so that others can refer to it as well. So jumping back into the presentation here, we'll move on to a few other views of the product. So here we have the web catalog, which we just viewed, HTML, which is one of your static exports, and then desktop. So this is where, as I mentioned, you can connect to new sources, create custom fields, do a little more of the admin management work here. There are the ERDs. And then sensitive data discovery and classification. This is where you're going to be able to run masks to classify your data, and it'll make suggestions so you can say, yes, it is, no, it isn't, and then place those in as a custom field so you always have those at your disposal. You are able to track any changes that occur to the schema. So if you have a table that's added, updated, deleted, all going to be listed in here so that you can track that within the desktop client. We have a plethora of different sources. They're all listed on our website in specific. So if you would like, you can check that out there. Here's the majority of them here. We haven't updated this recently. So if you are curious as to all the sources we support, feel free to check that out on our website. Pricing. So what we understand here is the cost is associated with more than just finance, right? So our licenses at its very lowest point start at $708 per user per year. You will have to have a database or a web server. You'll need SQL Server or Azure repository here. So you can use SQL Server Express, which is fully free. And then implementation and documentation both take around a day to really get started. So it's very quick and very agile as far as getting things up and running. All training and support is free with Dataedo. We do not put a limit on that. We want you to have all the resources that you need to get the tool up and running. So please, please, please take advantage of those support resources. As to pricing, our Pro, which is just the data dictionary itself, is $708 per editor per year. And then our web catalog, so our data catalog, is the enterprise editor and your viewers so that your viewers can come in and collaborate in the web catalog and view what you have. That's starting at $2,868 per year. We do have a proof of concept package. So if you're not ready to jump into a full year license, proof of concept is a fantastic way to kind of take a step into that if the 2-week trial isn't enough for you. So you can come in and have 3 months of unlimited access, unlimited number of users, all functionalities, and that support and training for $999 US, and you have access to everything for the 3 months. So it's really great for, pushing through that proof of concept and feeling really comfortable into moving into the year license. There is no obligation to go into a full license after that, but you do have the option, obviously. And then why us? So what's our competitive advantage, right? What is different with us? The first one is we're incredibly lightweight. So it's not a big, you can step into Dataedo, right? You don't have to jump in head first and hire someone new to create the data catalog and to be this project manager. It's something that has a very steep learning curve. It's very easy for non-technical users, and you can get it up and running in your organization and providing value very quickly. We also have free sharing options, super low cost of entry, again, both in time and money. And then we have completely transparent and self-service pricing. You can always see that on our website. We're, no hidden fees, anything along those lines. And then we do have incredible support and customer success. So for instance, once you do start with Dataedo, you'll be paired with a customer success manager who will help you onboard into the tool, train all users, and then we'll be with you for your lifetime with Dataedo. We do have fantastic reviews, so feel free to check those out on Gartner. And then we're trusted, as I mentioned earlier, by over 900 companies. Guys, this ranges from Fortune 100 companies all the way down into 1 to 2 man consulting firms. We have plans for everyone, and we can really fit into whatever it is you need, whether that is enterprise or a smaller launch. Customers all over the world. So we have customers in every continent except Antarctica. So if you know any companies there, please give us a reference. We would love to complete this map. But everything from South America, Australia, Africa, worldwide. And then next step. So where do you go from here? So you're always welcome to take, and we encourage you to talk to us. So, we're not an organization that's going to try to push you if it's not a great fit. Like, we just want to be able to interact with you so that you can make an educated decision. So you always have that free trial to take advantage of. You can book the personal demo with me and my team just to kind of get a deeper understanding of the tool. And you can discuss pricing and get a quote all on our website, or we can do that in the meeting and then choose the plan in the meeting as well. We can help you get that quoted out and discuss, what that pricing would look like, and then purchase. And then of course, you're going to get that training and support from your customer success manager. Now, we understand some people just want to come in here and explore, right? So feel free to do so. You do not have to talk to us. If you want to go more the self-service route, you do have the free trial as always, webinars like this. You can even choose the plan and get a quote on our website. And again, even purchase on our website without ever talking to us if that's the route you want to go. We encourage you to talk to us. We want to help you. We understand some people just like to do it on their own. And then you'll always get that training from your customer success manager. Now we're jumping into Q&A. So first question, Christopher. Yes, this is recorded, so you'll be able to share it with your C-level folks. You'll receive this right after the webinar. So you'll receive this into your email, and you'll be able to share it with them If for some reason that doesn't work out, I'll have my email. Feel free to email me back and let me know that you had issues with that, and I'll get you a recording. Always here as a resource. David, so as well as database tables, can other entities such as APIs, web formats, etc., be recorded and linked to the where the data is stored at the database level, such as data lineage analysis? Currently, we do not have an API or web forms. We do not have data lineage yet, but data lineage will be coming in the early phases of 2022. So that's one of the new things on our roadmap, which we're super excited about. Speaking of the roadmap, I'll share. We just launched a couple of new releases, but our newest release, we try to do them quarterly, will be including data profiling, which will allow you to go in and profile your data. So see the nulls, see the averages, max, min, variances, all within data profiling, which can be shared through the web. So that's a really, really great new thing that we've been working on that we're excited to release. Data lineage will be coming hopefully at the first of the year. Our teams have been working super hard at that. We're going to also include support for reporting, so SSAS, SSIS, looking into supporting Power BI and Tableau as well. Will all these features be included with existing licenses? Yes. So the way that it works is once you hold a Dataedo license, you're grandfathered into all updates for the next 3 years without any price increase. So we hold your price and we grandfather you into all updates. So you're welcome to upgrade and take advantage of data profiling, data lineage. So even if we raise the price, you're going to hold your price for 3 years and get all access to the updates. Ankur just asked if he said wants to try the free trial. Who could help if I run into any issues? So feel free to email me. Once you sign up for the free trial, you'll be able to, you'll receive my emails. So feel free to email back on any of those if you have any questions. I'll get you in contact with our support team, or if I can answer them personally, I will do so. Christopher, I burnt my trial, but I think we really need to build out a good demo based on our data to show. Any suggestions for extended trial if we wasted it? I shot you an email. Yeah, so guys, if you do run into where you need another week or so with the tool, just reach out. I'm happy to take care of that for you guys, give you an extra bit of time with the tool. We never have any problem with that. We're just happy you guys are working with it. So guys, well, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up here. If you need anything, again, feel free to take down my email. If you have done a trial, you have access to my email directly. So feel free to shoot it to me. I'll get you in contact with anyone that you need. And otherwise, yeah, we just look forward to working with you all and making sure that we can help out in the future. And if you need anything, we're here. So thanks, guys. Have a great weekend. Bye.